Fox Sports.
We are the Fourth. We are LA.
It's time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, Prime Ticket presents the Dodgers as they take on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Sunday to you, wherever you may be. Welcome to the final game of the series with the Pirates and the last game of the brief homestand. Dodgers will be heading for San Diego, and the Pirates will pack up and go over to Arizona. As far as the Dodgers are concerned, they'll be sorry to see the Pirates leave. They've beaten them 2 straight in the series, but they have now beaten Pittsburgh 8 straight here at Dodger Stadium. It gets even worse than that, 16 out of 18, 24 out of 26. So the Pirates have been the punching bag for the Dodgers, and so far so good. Despite the fact the Pirates have lost 2 games here in this series with good pitching, especially last night. A.J. Burnett pitched his heart out, and he had to do that to stay even, only to have Clayton Kershaw come up with a victory. Today, it'll be Jeff Locke, a left-hander, going for the Pirates. Hyun-Jin Ryu will be on the mound for the Dodgers. Locke, 1-3 against the Dodgers a year ago, has never won on the road. He is 0-4. So the prospects of a good ball game. Pull up a chair, and here we come. We'll have a lot of baseball right after this. singles event now through April 30th. By AT&T, Rethink Possible. And by Jack in the Box. Come in today. Try the Hot Mess Burger.
It's one of those special Sundays in the park. And Los Angelinos love about Dodger Stadium. It's 69 degrees. The temperature's going up. There's not a cloud in the sky. Just a little breeze blowing down Sunset from Silver Lake. Dodgers looking for a sweep over Pittsburgh. The Pirates haven't scored since they got to Los Angeles. You've seen great pitching on both sides. But now we're going to talk about hitting. Jim Watson and Steve Lyons in center field with your Hyundai key to victory. Carl Crawford hitting .438. It's fifth in the National League.
You know, this is a guy who actually has the capability to lead this team in hitting. When you talk about guys like Matt Kemp, who can hit over 300 easily. Agon is a guy who's hit over 300 all the time in his career. But when you talk about Carl Crawford and his ability to not only hit the ball into the gaps, but hit singles and get on base and score runs, he can easily lead this team in hitting. He's doing it right now at .438. It's not going to stay right at .438. It's going to come down a little bit, but I like the way he's playing, and I think he likes the way he's playing right now.
He's second in the National League on base percentage, and when he gets there, he's dangerous. Last night, 2 hits, 2 stolen bases, and scored the game-winning run. It's Hyun-Jin Ryu going for the Dodgers and looking for his first Major League win.
The field here at Dodger Stadium for the concluding game of the 3-game series and also the final game of the 6-game homestand that opened up, remember, exhibitions with the Angels. For the Pittsburgh Pirates, their lineup goes this way. Starling Marte is in left field. Neil Walker at second base. Andrew McCutchen is in center field. Gabby Sanchez at first base. Mike McHenry is behind the plate. Pedro Alvarez at third. Jose Tabata is in right field. John McDonald is the shortstop. And Jeff Locke on the mound. On the mound for the Dodgers, Hyun-Jin Ryu made his Major League debut Tuesday against the Giants. You may remember he allowed 3 runs, only 1 earned. He was in trouble throughout the game. He allowed 10 hits in 6 1/3 innings, but he did not walk anybody, struck out 5 and made 80 pitches. And of course, Don Mattingly, in talking about Ryu, is impressive with his background. He was saying that Ryu has pitched in the WBC, he's pitched in the Olympics, and even with all the festivities in his game against the Giants, he was very calm and kept his poise throughout the afternoon. So we'll see how he goes today in his second Major League start. This is only the second time we've seen him as he gets ready to pitch to Marte. And for those of you who are not aware why he wears number 99, when he was pitching over in Korea, his first number they gave him was 15. But then the star who had worn 15, who had left the team, came back and reclaimed the number. He's in for a strike. And so they said, all right, what number would you want? And Ryu said, well, when was the last time the club won the pennant? They said 1999. He said, okay, I'll take it. Marty spun around on a pitch inside, and the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Starling Marte, a kid from the Dominican Republic, whose dad played a lot of baseball in the country. He promptly bangs a line drive into left field, and it's a base hit. Crawford up with it to get it back in. So Marte, a line single left, and the batter Neil Walker. Let's take a look at the Dodgers defensively, and it's Gonzalez and Punto, Sellers and Uribe. The outfield, Crawford, Kemp, and in right field, Jerry Hairston, Fedorovich behind the plate, and Ryu on the mound. Neil Walker, a switch-hitting second baseman, checks in. Since we're not going to see Pittsburgh again for a long time, I think we can duck in a couple of notes about them once in a while and not be accused of repetition. Throw to first, and Marte back on the bag. Neil Walker's father, Tom, was a major league player who played in the winter ball in the Dominican and in Venezuela and played on the same team as Roberto Clemente. In fact, Tom Walker and Roberto became good friends as Walker swings, doesn't get the pitch, and the count 0-1. Anyway, when Roberto Clemente was loading up the plane to go to Nicaragua to help the people who had been injured by the earthquake, Tom Walker, Neil's dad, helped Roberto load the plane with all the foodstuffs. The next pitch is fouled off to the right of the plate. Adrian Gonzalez along with Fedorovich, no play. So that'll give us time to conclude the story. So when Tom Walker finished loading the supplies along with Roberto Clemente, he said, Roberto, I want to go with you to Nicaragua. I can help out. And Roberto said, no, Tom, I appreciate it, but you stay here. So Roberto took off. The plane crashed. Clemente lost his life. And Tom Walker, still alive, as fate decreed that he would stay home. So here is the chip off the old block, Neil Walker. And Walker up there 0-2, has a look at a pitch off the plate, and the count 1-2. Walker struggling a bit like most of the Bucks. He is 0 for 11. He had reached base safely 4 of his first 8 appearances, but he's drawn blanks ever since. The Pirates have gotten wonderful pitching. Ryu's fastball is popped up on the infield. Sellers calling, Punto is calling, but Sellers will stay with it and make the catch. So Neil Walker pops up, 1 away, and Andrew McCutchen coming up. McCutchen, of course, is the big bat, the big star in the lineup. He's hit safely in 4 of the first 5. He hit safely in 4 straight, actually, and then the Dodgers shut him down last night. He's also perhaps the most popular guy on the team because yesterday, before anybody knew it, Andrew arrived in the ballpark into the clubhouse and gave every member of the team Dr. Dre headphones. So all of the players delighted with that free gift. But McCutchen, obviously, that kind of a kid. His dad is the pastor of a non-denominational religious church. Andrew sings in the choir, and last summer his mom sang the national anthem in Pittsburgh. So McCutchen at the plate. You might remember too that Andrew fell short, finishing up behind the batting champion Buster Posey. So Ryu set at the belt, looks at first, works a change high and away. They check to see, and they're going to call it a swing. And McCutchen appears a little stunned, looking down to Mike Malinsky. So Andrew is still not quite ready to get back in the box. 1 ball and 1 strike, the count. McCutchen hits a high drive into deep left field, and that one is gone. So Andrew McCutchen hits the 3rd pitch by Rio into the left field stands for McCutchen. It's his first home run of the year, and the Pirates, for the first time in a while, jump out to a 2-0 lead. Dodger fans throw the ball back onto the field. McCutchen could care less. So Andrew hits it out with Marte aboard, and just like that, Ryu in a jam as the Bucks jump out in front 2-0. Of course, for McCutchen to hit a home run, it is certainly no news. He is one of the top players in the league. And the first pitch up and away to Gabby Sanchez. 1 ball and no strikes. 2-0 Pittsburgh. Now Ryu delivers and gets it a little low. 2-0 in favor of the Pirates. Andrew McCutchen, by the way, last year hit 31 home runs. The 2-0 pitch on the way is high. Ball 3, 3-0. So a shocky and rocky start for Ryu. A leadoff base hit and a 1-out home run by McCutchen. Gabby Sanchez, right-hand hitting first baseman, looks at a fastball at the knees for a strike, and the count 3-1. Sanchez batted 4th last night and went 0 for 3. Gabby waiting. Rio into the windup, works another one in at the knees, and the count 3-2. So 1 out first inning for the Pirates. They're not only trying to snap a 3-game losing streak this year. For Clint Hurdle, he's also trying to snap an 8-game losing streak here at Dodger Stadium. The next pitch is low, ball 4. So Sanchez draws the walk, and the batter will be Mike McHenry.
Catcher number 19, Michael McHenry.
So McHenry coming up with a runner at first and 1 out. 2-0 in favor of the Pirates. McCutchen hitting one of those no doubt about it home runs. Mike McHenry is from Knoxville, Tennessee. We've not seen him in the series until now. Went to school at Middle Tennessee State and was originally drafted by the Rockies 7 years ago. And Mike takes a strike. He's behind Russell Martin, and Martin caught the first 2 games. However, Russell 0 for 14, and they sit him down today in favor of McHenry. Right-hand hitting catcher, and Martin becomes the spectator. Strike 1 pitch on the way, and that's high and outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. McHenry was playing for the Knoxville Thunder. That was youth baseball. And Todd Helton used to work out with them. He was always present, giving them posters and points on how to play the game. McHenry comes up empty on his swing, and the count 1-2. Mike is 5'10", 215-pounder. Just turned 28. So McHenry back up. Gabby Sanchez at first. 2-0 in favor of the Pirates in the first inning. Ryu delivers fastball shell back a third. Great stop by Uribe to get a force at second. What a play by Juan Uribe. He was on his knees on the chalk and was able to get it down to second base to Punto for the force. And for McHenry, he loses a certain double, and it's turned into a force play. So at least for the moment, Ryu is struggling. He's not fooling the Pirates. And the batter is Pedro Alvarez, the left-hand hitting first baseman. Alvarez last night had a long night against Clayton Kershaw. He joins a long list of hitters who have had long days and nights against Kershaw. He takes a strike. Last night, Pedro struck out 3 times. In game 1, he struck out once against Greinke, though he has struck out 4 times in the series without a base hit. He takes a breaking ball in the dirt that gets away from Federovich, and down to second base on what we assume is a wild pitch goes McHenry. So Ryu struggling a little bit. A single to left, a one-out home run by McCutchen, then the walk. Then he is saved on a splendid play by Juan Uribe. Otherwise, it would probably be 3-0 Pittsburgh with a runner at second base. Alvarez waiting, and here comes the pitch, and that's swung on and missed. Pedro Alvarez, a first-round pick, hitless in his last 10 at-bats after starting off 2 for 8. He has shown a good glove at third base. Question is, will he hit? Ryu ready, delivers, comebacker. Ryu has it, straightens up and lobs it over to first for the out. So Alvarez hits back to the box, but no way to protect against Andrew McCutchen. It's a 2-run home run, and the Pirates lead 2-0. In the National League, hits a home run after hitting 31 last year, and the Bucks have a lead 2-0. And we'll take a look at the Dodger lineup now, and it will begin with Carl Crawford in left field, Nick Punto at second base, resting Mark Ellis, Matt Kemp in center, and Adrian Gonzalez at first. Jerry Hairston in right field to give Ethier a rest. Juan Uribe at third, who made that brilliant play on the ball hit by McHenry. Tim Federovich, who might very well, and this is only a guess, Federovich catching today, but since they traded Harang for a catcher, it could be that Tim will play today and then go out. We'll see. Justin Sellers at short, and Hyun-Jin Ryu on the mound. On the mound for the Pirates, Jeff Locke. He's out of a little town, Center Conway in New Hampshire. He's a left-hander all the way, 6'1", 185. He'll be 26 late in November. He was a second-round pick by the Atlanta Braves. In that area in New Hampshire, produced some pretty famous names in baseball, like Mike Flanagan, Bob Tewksbury, Brian Wilson, and Chris Carpenter. And as you can imagine, growing up in New Hampshire, Jeff was very much a Red Sox fan. The Braves signed him, but he winds up with the Pirates. Dodgers saw him when Hiroki Kuroda outpitched him to beat him, and he has never won on the road, but he hadn't really been around that long. Pitched to Crawford a strike. Young Jeff 0-4 in his lifetime on the road. Fastball, slider, and a change. Crawford backs off on a pitch inside, and a count, 1-1 strike. It is not a smooth delivery. Crawford has seen them all, and he's off to a great start, batting .438. A little bit herky-jerky, and the left-hander delivers, and it's low and away. 2-1 the count. They're asking Locke if he were intimidated by some of the big names in the Dodger lineup, but he said he pitched against some big American League teams in spring training. The next one to Crawford is swung on and missed, and the count 2-2. So Jeff Locke, that came here in the deal that sent a very talented player to Atlanta. That would be Nate McLouth. So McLouth went away and Locke arrived. 2-2 pitch on the way. Crawford hits a comebacker. Locke has it, turns, flips over to first, and down goes Carl, one away. Take a look at the Pirates defensively, and they shape up with Sanchez and Walker, McDonald and Alvarez, Marte, McCutchen, and Tabata, and McHenry behind the plate. So Nick Punto coming up, valuable man for the Dodgers, can play just about anywhere on the infield. Punto, a threat to bunt, although the Pirates play back, so let's see what Nick does. Locke into his windup. The left-hander delivers. There's the bunt, and it's up along first and goes foul. I was a little surprised that the Pirates were playing the infield way back, because anybody who's been watching the Dodgers at all will know that Punto likes to bunt. So sure enough, he tried, bunted foul, and the count 0-1. Dan Iasanya is the plate umpire. Mike Muchlinski, Mark Carlson, and Jerry Davis on the line. All right, Locke standing behind the rubber, now steps on both feet. Turns on the rubber, and the left-hander delivers. Punto a full swing foul, and the count 0-2. Punto, in all of his career, which is more than 3,195, probably at least 3,200 plate appearances, has 15 home runs. That makes him about the lowest as far as home run production for anybody with that many plate appearances. The strike 2 pitch to Nick, and he takes low, ball 1. Of course, the Dodgers have 3 men with less than 20 home runs in the same number of plate appearances. They played here: Juan Pierre, Ryan Theriot, and Jamie Carroll. Punto reaches for one and punts it into right center for a base hit. McCutchen up with it and fires it back in. And Nick Punto, a 1-out single to right center field, and that will bring up Matt Kemp. For Matt Kemp, one thing is a slump, the other is agonizing when it seems like every time you come up there's somebody on base and you remain in a slump. Now there's an interesting point about Matt Kemp. Last year he swung at the first pitch 25% of the time. A couple of years ago he only swung at the first pitch 19% of the time. I know it's early, but this year he has swung at the first pitch 45% of the time, which certainly would indicate that he is pressing. So let's see what happens. Punto at first, 1 out. It's 2-0 Pirates, and first pitch swung on and missed. 0-1. So that's a big turnaround from once upon a time you're a hitter, a selective hitter that took the first pitch and only swung 19%, to be up there hacking now 45%, almost half of the first pitches. So Matt in the hole. Locke plants the left foot, leans on the right knee to get a sign. Punto held on by Sanchez. Strike 1 pitch on the way to Matt, and that's taken on the outside corner at the knees. Matt walks away from the plate. The count 0-2. For Matt Kemp, it has been a long go. He's hitting .056. He has 1 hit in 18 at bats. So Matt back up, hitting back of him, Adrian Gonzalez. 2-0 Pittsburgh. 2-run home run by Andrew McCutchen. The left-hander Locke at the belt, looks at Punto, back to Kemp, low at his feet, scrambling block by McHenry. The Dodgers trying to sweep the series from the Pirates, and the last time they swept Pittsburgh, a 3-game series here, was last April. Well, they got off on a right foot last year against the Bucks, and Mattingly is hoping to do the same thing today. 1-2 the count to Matt Kemp. Locke bends, leans, now straightens up. Punto at first, and with one out, the pitch to Matt Kemp is instead a throw to first. Couple of streaks on the line. The Dodgers have won 2 in a row. Bucks have lost 3 in a row. The Dodgers beat Pittsburgh 6 out of 7 last year. 1-2 the count to Matt Kemp. Locke out of his stretch. Another look at Punto. And the left-hander to the plate. It's swung on and driven to right center and deep. And that ball is going to be off the wall. They will stop Punto at third on a long double by Matt Kemp. So Matt Kemp goes the other way. Remember, his first and only hit of the year was a double to right center that produced a run batted in. This time his double to right center got Punto to third. So the Dodgers have the tying runs in scoring position. First base open. It's 2-0 Pittsburgh, and Adrian Gonzalez with Punto at third and Kemp at second. Punto, rather than break the laces on his shoes, rounded third, and when he saw the stop sign, he just went into a little slide on the grass. So second and third, 2-0 Bucks, and here's Adrian Gonzalez. Gonzalez hitting .313. Locke looks in to get a sign. The left-hander in trouble. And his first pitch to Gonzalez tight to the hands, ball one. Adrian last night finished up with a walk, a single, and a double. The game before, he had a single and a double. So he's been a pain in the neck to the Bucks in the series, and now a chance to really get the Dodgers tied up. Locke out of a stretch, checking the runners, and the left-hander delivers. Adrian looks at a pitch low. And Locke now is down 2 balls and no strikes.
Everybody clap your hands.
Adrian Gonzalez, 6'2", 225. He'll be 31 years old in May. Started playing in the big leagues with the Texas Rangers back in 2004. Then, of course, had a great career in San Diego. The 2-0 pitch on the way. Locke set. Here he comes, and it's in for a strike. 2-1. Hitting behind Gonzalez is Jerry Hairston. So Hairston waits. Gonzalez with a 2-1 count. Adrian, of course, with that memorable first at bat as a Dodger last year, hitting a home run down the right field line just inside the pole. Here's the 2-1 pitch coming up. Locke ready, deals, ground ball up the middle. It's going to go all the way into center field. 2 runs will score, and the game is tied 2-2. So the Dodgers put the key in the lock and come up with 2 runs to get even immediately. For Adrian Gonzalez, he now has 3 RBIs this young year. Just did get by the diving Neil Walker. So 2 runs score and hold everything. Ray Searage, the pitching coach for the Pirates, on his way out to the mound. For Neil Walker, the second baseman, so near and yet so far. So in the first inning, he'd joined us late. Starling Marte single to left, and with 1 out, Andrew McCutchen buried one in the pavilion in left field to give the Pirates a 2-0 lead. But the Dodgers come right back with 1 out. Punto single to center. Kemp doubled into third. Gonzalez singles both men home. So we have a 2-2 tie, and Jerry Hairston coming up. 3 hits in a row against Locke. So if nothing else, Searage wanted to go out and break the mood. Jerry Hairston has had 3 at-bats this young season. He is 0 for 3. Right-hand batter, Locke checking his defense. Now plants the left foot. Jeff straightens up. Gonzalez short lead at first. And the left-hander's pitch is low, ball 1. As we've mentioned throughout the series, Adrian Gonzalez has not been a threat on the base paths. He did have 2 last year, but he's had 4 stolen bases in the last 9, almost 10 years. Yet the Bucks consistently hold a corner on him. And Hairston waiting, 1 ball and no strikes. 2-2 in the first inning. Locke out of a stretch. Jeff comes to the plate, and this one's at the knees. A good fastball for a strike, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. For Jerry Hairston facing Locke, he has to thank his lucky stars. Remember, he had hip surgery. It was questionable as to whether he'd ever able to come back. 1-1 to Jerry. Locke comes right back, and it's swung on. High fly ball, but that's all it is. And McCutcheon is there to pick it off. Going back to first was Adrian Gonzalez. And the batter will be Juan Uribe. Uribe has already made an impression in the first inning. He made a dazzling diving stop on the foul line deep at third, and then got up and turned it into a force play. If that ball had gotten by Uribe, Sanchez would have scored, and McHenry would have had a double, and it would have been at least 3-0 Pittsburgh. But now the ball game is tied 2-2, and here is Uribe. Out of a stretch goes Locke, looking over at Adrian Gonzalez, and the pitch to Juan at his feet, ball 1. So 2 out in the inning in a 2-2 tie. Uribe out of the box, a quick look for Tim Wallach. Hitting behind Uribe, Tim Fedorovich. By the way, they informed us as about we were going on the air. Now we have a sellout today. Here's the pitch, a check swing, 2-0 to count. And it reminds me of a conversation we had with Tim Fedorovich on Fan Fest Day before the season opened. And Tim and I were driving to the Fan Fest area in center field. And when we got to center, he looked back towards home plate and said, "Wow, I've never played before a sellout crowd." Well, he's got his wish right now. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Big swing, high foul off first, and that will go back out of play. The only thing in life appears to be cruel in just about every area. Talking about Fedorovich, who has waited to play before that sellout crowd, and yet you look at the game today, and at least the thought comes that he might very well be sent back following the game. 2 out, 2-1 to count to Juan Uribe. Locke straightens up, another look at Gonzalez, and the pitch to Uribe, big swing and a high fly ball into shallow right field. Tabata is there to make the catch, and that's the inning. But the Dodgers, thanks to 3 hits in a row and a 2 RBI single, leading in a 2-2 tie.
the Pirates, right fielder, number 31, Jose Tabata.
Second inning in a 2-2 tie. Adrian Gonzalez a base hit to tie up the ball game. By the way, the Dodgers so far this year have allowed 4 earned runs. Now with the deuce today, the Pirates have allowed 10. The Mets and the Giants have allowed 11. And the Dodger bullpen 0. So the bullpen has been absolutely magnificent, albeit only 5 games played, this being number 6. So as the Dodgers bask in the sun, Tabata up there takes a pitch high. And a 2-0 count to Jose. He's from Venezuela and was originally signed by the Yankees. The 2-0 pitch coming up to the right-hand batter. And that's taken a little high, ball 3. So Ryu gave up a leadoff single, then a 2-run home run by McCutchen, and was saved on a brilliant play by Juan Uribe. 3-0 pitch on the way. Tabata looks, and it's a strike. We were mentioning Neil Walker in the story relative to Roberto Clemente. Tabata grew up a big fan of Clemente. His father was a huge fan of Clemente. In fact, Tabata, although we can't see it, has a tattoo on his left chest that bears an image of Roberto Clemente. And the Spanish inscription says, "For my father." The pitch hit in the air to shallow center. Matt Kemp comes driving in, picks it off. The Tabata, a fly ball to center, 1 away. And the batter will be John McDonald. They have a James McDonald and a John McDonald. John McDonald is a veteran. He'll be 39 in September. So he brings up a lot of games and a lot of wisdom. Started playing ball in 1996. John, right-hand batter, takes low, ball 1. He's played with Cleveland, Toronto, Detroit, Arizona, and now here he is with the Bucks. The next pitch to McDonald, a little high. So McDonald, among other things, played in most leagues all the way up the ladder to the big leagues. 2-0 pitch. John takes off the plate. Ball 3. 3-0. So Rio not as sharp, and of course sharp is a different word. Last time out he gave up a bunch of hits but only 3 runs. This time he gets a strike. So 3-1 to McDonald. The veteran shortstop followed by the pitcher Jeff Locke. The 3-1 pitch is taken for a strike. McDonald in his lengthy career has hit .230 in the National League, .240 in the American League. Last year with Arizona, 70 games, he hit .249. Hits a comebacker, backhanded by Ryu, who flips over to first for the out. Nice play. So Rio makes a good play. 2 down in the second inning, and the batter now is Jeff Locke, the pitcher. I think if I remember when Ryu pitched his first game, that was game 2 of the Giants, he gets a strike to Locke. I remember reading in the paper that it was 11 o'clock in the morning in Seoul, Korea. So there was 11 o'clock at 7 o'clock at night. You can do the math as to what time it is right now. I'm sure a lot of folks watching him pitch in for a strike. Although advisedly, one eye on Ryu and the other eye on North Korea. 2 down, second inning in a 2-2 tie. Ryu delivers, working quickly. Strike 3 called. Ryu was off the mound before the plate umpire Ayasanya said strike 3, and at the end of 2.5, 2-2. 2-2, bottom of the second inning, and a reminder, Saturday, April 27th at 6:10, the Dodgers and the Brewers. And the first 40,000 fans in attendance will take home their own Dodger sports bag, compliments of United Airlines. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. Well, Matt Kemp having a little conversation in the dugout. Mark McGuire, the hitting coach, patting him on the back as Matt twice now has gone to right center for his hits, and his double in the first inning set up the 2 runs to tie up the game. Tim Fedorovich, followed by Justin Sellers, and then it will be Ryu. Don Mattingly was talking about Fedorovich, and everybody knows he's on thin ice, a kid who figured to be the backup catcher until the Dodgers traded Aaron Harang and picked up Ramon Hernandez, a veteran catcher. Fedorovich waiting, lock into his windup, and the left-hander's first pitch taken low, ball 1. Mattingly said, I don't think it affects him much at all, depth charge wise in the long run. We think he's going to develop offensively, and he's really smart. The 1-0 pitch on the way, a check swing, and it's low, ball 2. Right now, Fedorovich is here, and we're going to do what's best for him and the organization in the long run. We just need to make sure he knows our thinking. 2-0. So they don't want him to get discouraged as he takes ball 3, having a glimpse of staying here and then perhaps having been sent back. So Locke working on Fedorovich, waiting on deck. The leadoff man, well, batting ninth is Ryu, and that's a little bit of surprise. The pitch in, 3-1. Fedorovich followed by Sellers and Ryu, and then you get to Carl Crawford. Here comes Locke, and the 3-1 pitch on the way, swung on and missed. 3-2 to Tim. Fedorovich came up and appeared in 10 games for the Dodgers in the last 2 years. He has 3 major league hits and swings, bangs it to left. Going back, however, and having it under control is Marte to make the catch. So Fedorovich hits it hard, lines out to left field, 1 down.
Justin Sellers.
And Justin Sellers coming up with Ryu on deck. Sellers has the glove. There's no doubt about that. However, he is also 0 for 13 as he checks into the box. We have a 2-2 tie, bottom of the second inning. 2 streaks. Dodgers have won 2. Pirates have lost 3. Pirates have not won a series against the Dodgers here since 2006. Locke delivers, a little low, ball 1, 1-0. Justin waiting, left-hander, Locke into the windup, comes back to the plate, and that's fouled off to the right out of play. 1-1. Sellers 0 for 3 last night, struck out twice. Game before 0 for 3. So Justin trying to get off the mark. 0 for 13. The 1-1 pitch on the way. He runs to bunt, fouls it away, and they count 1-2. Again, a good idea for Sellers to try to bunt his way aboard, hitting 8th in the lineup. We mentioned the fact Punto likes to bunt. The Bucks acted as if they didn't know that. They played deep, and Punto tried to bunt the first pitch. Now the pitch to Justin Sellers, swung on, high foul off first, and that will carry back into the crowd. Don't forget the Dodgers schedule now. They'll go down to San Diego and open up the Padre home season Tuesday. That's a 3:40 game, and it'll be on KCAL. Dodgers play 3 in San Diego, 3 in Arizona next weekend, and then they come right back home to play San Diego here. 1-2 pitch, fastball fouled away. So Jeff Locke and Justin Sellers battling it out. Here's that schedule again, and to give you an idea of the pitching, Josh Beckett against Clayton Richard, Chad Billingsley against Eric Stultz, and Zach Greinke against Jason Marquis. So Billingsley is tabled to pitch on Wednesday. 1-2 pitch on the way is swung on and missed, and down goes Sellers. For Billingsley, of course, he will be celebrating an anniversary. Chad made his very first big league start in San Diego, and if memory serves me right, he had a base hit. Apparently that sore finger that was preventing him from throwing curveballs has healed. Now 2 out, and here's Ryu, takes a strike, 0-1. We're in the second inning in a 2-2 tie. The pitch to Rio, in for another strike, 0-2. Jeff Locke doesn't noodle around out there. He's right back on the rubber, ready to pitch. The left-hander's strike 2 pitch coming up. And it's waved at and missed. Down goes Rio. 2 strikeouts back to back. And at the end of 2, we have a 2-2 tie.
Getting off the third for the Pirates.
We have a 2-2 tie as we go to the third inning, the Dodgers and the Pirates. For Ryu tuning up, he's made 40 pitches already. And in his first game, he went 6 1/3 innings and made 80 pitches. So he'll have to cut down on his pitches right now. You know, there's something different about Ryu. It's about as different as East and West. He doesn't throw between starts. Never has. Not in Korea, not here. In fact, when he reported to the Dodgers for spring training, he hadn't thrown all winter. Ryu stands on the side of extreme caution or even preservation. He did endure Tommy John surgery while he was in high school. But in the course of a conversation, he didn't mention that as grounds for his personal schedule, he never throws in between starts. The left-hander ready, delivers, and Marte takes a strike. Rio says it started a few years ago as Marte, who singled, waits at the plate. Strike 1 pitch. He runs to bunt, lays down at Dandy. Uribe picks it, throws, no good. That's a bunt single for Starling Marte. So to finish up on Ryu and the fact he does not throw in between starts, he explained it started a few years ago in Korea. He said over there it's common you throw over 100 pitches in every start. It takes 5 days to fully recuperate. So my number one priority is to be ready to throw another 100 pitches. Well, in the U.S. it's totally different. The vast majority of pitchers usually have a rather rigorous bullpen between starts. Pitch is popped up on the left side. Sellers is calling, and the shortstop makes the catch, and that takes care of Neil Walker. So 1 out, Marte at first, and now here comes Andrew McCutchen. Andrew McCutchen last year was hitting .373 during the first 100 games. That was the highest average for a Pirate player since the great Paul Wainer all the way back in 1937. And then something happened on August the 3rd. At that time he was leading the league, hitting .373. McCutchen takes a strike. He was hit by an Aroldis Chapman fastball, and he's a guy who's been clocked at 100 miles an hour. Since being hit by that pitch, he batted only .248 the rest of the way. Intimidated? I doubt it. He just roughed up. So Andrew McCutchen, I would think anybody who faces Aroldis Chapman would be somewhat intimidated without ever being hit. Ryu delivers, and it's low. 1-2 the count. It was McCutchen who hit the 2-run home run in the first inning. So Andrew McCutchen, he'll be playing for the Bucks for a long time. He had a 6-year extension. Got a Gold Glove last year, and he takes way off the plate. Ryu in a 2-2 tie. The Bucks touched him for 2 runs in the first inning, and now a base hit here in the third. And the pitch to McCutchen is swung on, lifted into a triangle area, coming over is Hairston to make the catch. In an area where you had Kemp and Hairston and Punto all trying to gather under it. And Jerry Hairston makes the catch. So 2 down, and the batter will be Gabby Sanchez. The Pirates are still the only team in the majors not to have allowed more than 3 runs in a game. They've allowed 2 so far, and they're tied up. The pitch off speed and away, ball 1, 1-0. The Pirates also broke the spell of not having hit a home run against the Cubs and against the Giants, against the Dodgers when McCutchen hit here. The pitch at the plate makes it a 1-ball, 1-strike count. It was the first time that the Pirates had gone 5 games without a home run, quite a while, back to 1998. The 1-1 pitch on the way, swung on, fouled at the plate. 1-2 the count to Gabby Sanchez, who might have chipped his bat, and he'll have to go over and get another. So timeout. Yeah, Marte at first. Marte has made a gaffe running last night, trying to go from second to third on a ball hit to the shortstop, and he paid the price. Marte is also 0 for 1 in stolen bases, but he does run well. And Sanchez now coming back up to the plate. Out of a stretch goes Ryu. The 1-2 pitch is punched foul just by the Pirate dugout down into the photographer's well. 1-2. Pirates had a single by Marte and a first inning home run by Andrew McCutchen to jump out 2-0. Dodgers had 3 hits in a row. Punto singled, Kemp doubled into third, Gonzalez singled home both of them. So we're 2-2, top of the third inning. Ryu has now made 12 pitches in the inning, 52 pitches in the game. Left-handed back with a pitch fouled away again. So Gabby Sanchez fouling him away, killing some worms around home plate. Gabby started the first 5 games, and he played first base in 4 of the 5, went 1 for 13. They sat him down, and now he's back in there. Dodgers 2, Pirates 2. Top of the 3rd, Marte at first. Ryu looks over at him, and there he goes. An off-speed pitch is lifted in the air to shallow left field. Coming up for it is Crawford, and that's that. So no runs, 1 hit, a man left, and at the end of 2.5 innings, a 2-2 tie. We'll have Carl Crawford, Nick Punto, and Matt Kemp in that order in the final game of the series before shoving off to play San Diego and Arizona, and then back here to play the Padres on the 15th, 16th, and 17th of April. Dodgers then go back out on the road to Baltimore and the New York Mets, and the next homestand of any number will feature Milwaukee and Colorado. So bottom of the 3rd inning, top of the order, Carl Crawford, followed by Punto and Kemp. Crawford hit back to the box in the 1st inning. Carl off to a great start, and the left-hand batter ready to go. The left-hand pitcher turns into his windup and lock ready. Fastball low and away. 1 ball and no strikes. Crawford 2 for 3 with 2 stolen bases last night. 1-0 pitch on the way to Carl. He holds up, and that's low, ball 2, 2-0. Now lock ready, and the pitch to Crawford, that's a high strike, and the count 2-1 up in the strike zone. Crawford, a very exciting player, runs very well, steals a lot of bases. He has 114 triples in his career. He takes high, ball 3. So 3-1 the count. Locke very deliberate. Here he comes. It's swung on, whacked into the gap. There's nobody there. That's going to go and hit the base of the wall. Crawford is into second base, standing with a long double. And boy, are the Dodgers delighted with Carl Crawford. Remember, he came over as damaged goods. He had the bad elbow. No one really knew when he would play or how he would play. But he said he would be ready for opening day, and he sure is. So Crawford, a leadoff double into the gap in left center field. And the batter will be Nick Punto. So Punto, who tried to bunt the very first pitch, fouled it off, and then promptly singled to right center field. Nick, right-hand batter, facing Locke. Dodgers 2 runs and 4 hits. Pirates 2 runs, 3 hits. Locke straightens up. Punto waits. Left-hander looks back at Crawford, and the slow breaking ball in for a strike, and the count 0-1. The Nick again backs out, checking with Tim Wallach. We were swapping stories with Tommy Lasorda before the game, and of course Tommy guaranteed to tell you a dandy. Here's the strike one pitch to Punto. Instead, Locke off the rubber. They were using the runner's last name for the steal. Reggie Smith was the coach at first. Steve Sachs, who's now coaching in Arizona. Sachs was the runner at first. And Lasorda decided to put the steal on. The pitch to Punto was a little high. And so Sachs would take his lead. Reggie Smith would say, "Take a good lead, Saxy. Stay alive out there, Saxy." And no matter how many times he mentioned Sachs' last name, the key to steal, Steve never ran. All of a sudden, after about 3 calls by Reggie Smith, Sachs asked for time and went back to talk to Reggie. Reggie said, "What in the world do you want? Why'd you call time?" Locke ready and delivers. Bunt by Punto. Locke down to get it. Shovels it for the out. And on the sacrifice, Crawford takes third. Anyway, Sachs comes over to Reggie Smith. And Reggie said, "What's wrong? Why did you call time?"
Center fielder.
Sachs said, "Reggie, how long have you known me?" And Reggie said, "Gosh, I've known you X number of years." Sachs said, "Well, don't you think you ought to call me by my first name?" And we'll see, Steve. He's the first base coach for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Bottom of the third, Crawford at third with 1 out, and Matt Kemp trying to pick him up. The infield is up and the outfield is split. McCutcheon shaded slightly to right center. Kemp's 2 hits have gone to right center, and the breeze is blowing from left to right. Locke ready. Here he comes. Matt swings. It's a high fly ball down the right field line. Over to get it is Tabata. Tagging is Crawford. No chance to get him. And the Dodgers lead 3-2. And Matt Kemp swung at the first pitch. So a double by Crawford. The sacrifice by Punto, and then the fly ball to pick him up. So 3-2 Dodgers, and now Adrian Gonzalez, who singled to drive in 2 runs in the first inning. Left-hander Jeff Locke into the windup, breaking ball up and in. Ball 1 to Adrian. Adrian hit a ground ball just through into center field to drive in 2. Neil Walker diving at it, trying to knock it down, couldn't do it. They load up the right side of the infield again, and Gonzalez hits one to left field. In the air, Marte is there. Starling makes the catch for the out. However, the Dodgers play it the right way. A double, a key sacrifice, and a scoring fly ball, and they lead 3-2. 3-2 as we go to the top of the fourth inning. Few reports. Arizona leading Milwaukee 6-4 in the ninth inning. Goldschmidt becoming a power man, 3 for 4. Colorado leading San Diego 3-0 in the fourth inning. Dexter Fowler a 2-run home run. Cardinals Giants scoreless in the third. Giants the same record as the Dodgers, 3-2. Ryu ready to pitch in the fourth. Mike McHenry takes ball one. McHenry robbed of an extra base hit. A great play by Juan Uribe. This time he pops it foul up to the right. That'll carry back into the stands. 1 ball and 1 strike. Rio gave up 2 runs in the first inning. Dodgers not only got them back, now they've given him a lead run as he works the fourth inning. That's going to go foul down the line. Question that comes up in the final game of the 3-game series, and that is, are the Dodger pitchers making great pitches, or are the Pirate hitters just haven't been able to capitalize? Part of the thought in the series, Pirate hitters are 1 for 16 despite having a 3-ball count their way. Kershaw, of course, blew them away twice. The Pirates have only drawn 4 walks in their 20 plate appearances that went to 3 balls. Fly ball to Crawford. That'll do it for McHenry. 1 away. So needless to say, the Bucks have gotten good pitching, and their hitters have been totally out of whack. As good a game as we've seen, and that includes Kershaw, was that game last night that A.J. Burnett pitched. Struck out 9. He had great stuff. I mean, he had the stuff that he had 5 years ago when he was an 18-game winner with Toronto, or even last year when he had a 16-win season despite pitching for a team under 500. He was terrific. Meanwhile, Alvarez having troubles, waves and misses. 0-2. On the corner. So Alvarez thoroughly overwhelmed by left-handed pitching, and down he goes. So he has struck out 5 times in the series. That's a killer. And with 2 out, Tabata coming up. Fly to center in the second inning. I thought last night in watching the game, it was a lot easier for Clayton Kershaw to face the Pirate hitters than it was for A.J. Burnett to face the Dodger hitters. And Burnett struck out 9, allowed 1 run. He made 108 pitches. Fellow had a no-hitter way back in 2001 against San Diego, but he was marvelous. 0-2 the count. Dodgers lead 3-2 with 2 out in the fourth. Crack bat, ground ball to Sellers. He's on it to get him. So down go the Bucks, and at the end of 3.5 innings, Ryu walks off leading 3-2. It's 3-2. Happy moment here in the ballpark. A proposal in the stand. Here's a happy moment. It's time for today's Prime Ticket Twitter poll. What is your favorite 1-2 pitching combo in LA Dodger history? Would it be Koufax and Drysdale, or would it be Valenzuela and Hershiser? Tweet hashtag Koufax Drysdale or Valenzuela Hershiser and keep tuning in. We'll look at the results. I would assume the biggest difference from the audience looking will be age. I mean, if you're young, certainly you'll remember Valenzuela and Hershiser and not particularly remember Koufax and Drysdale. So we'll see how it comes out. Jerry Hairston will start it off. That's a strike. Jerry will be followed by Juan Uribe and then the catcher Tim Fedorovich. 3-2 Dodgers, fourth inning. Check swing. Somebody hollering something out of the Pirate dugout. Iasanya looking over there. And he's not very happy. Hairston not quite ready to get back in. Iasanya is still eyeballing the Pirate bench. 1 ball and 1 strike. Shot up the middle, behind the bag, smothering and unable to throw is Walker. And Hairston is aboard with a solid single. That thing went through in a hurry. It got by Locke. Locke dropping down, trying to lunge at it. Walker tried to smother and throw. Got the smother part, but couldn't throw. So a base hit for Hairston. And the batter now will be Juan Uribe, who flied to right field in the first inning. Great effort by Neil Walker, but to no avail. Locke going to first to keep an eye. The Dodgers scored 2 runs on 3 hits in the first inning. Then got the go-ahead run on 1 hit in the third. So they now have 6 hits against the left-hander Jeff Locke. And again, the Dodgers have 3, but the Bucks have not allowed more than 3 runs this year. Of course, this year is much. 5 games. And they're keeping an eye on Hairston. You don't think of Uribe as a hit and run man. He keeps looking down to Wallach. So if you think about Hairston, I think the first thought is might be a straight steal. Let's see. There he goes. And the pitch is punched to first. They're going to get an out. The return throw, no play. So they do get the force play, 3-6. And that will bring up Fedorovich. We mentioned when the Dodgers leave here, they go to San Diego. Dodgers had pretty good luck against the Padres. They won the series last year, 11 of the 18. They were 6-3 in San Diego. Then they go to Arizona. So you have Uribe at first, 1 away. Fedorovich, who hit the ball hard, lined out to left field in the second inning at the plate. And ball 1. To complete the thought, after the Dodgers play in San Diego, they go over to Arizona, and they can't be too happy about that. Arizona beat the Dodgers 12 of 18 last year. And Dodgers had a terrible time at Chase Field. That misses inside. Dodgers lost 5 straight at Chase Field. Managed to win only 3. So that's the upcoming schedule. Padres and the D-backs. 2 balls and no strikes the count to Tim Fedorovich. That's in for a strike. Fedorovich checking with Tim Wallach. Dodgers put a play on with Hairston going and Uribe tapped to first. They were able to get Hairston at second. Uribe held on by Gabby Sanchez. 2-1. Inside fastball. So 3-1. Don't forget the Dodgers have beaten the Pirates. It's hard to believe. 8 straight at Dodger Stadium and 16 of the last 18 games here. Three and 1. Uribe not going, and it is ball 4. So that puts runners at first and second with 1 out, and Justin Sellers the batter. The problem with the Pirates, first of all, they have not had a winning season. They have not had 1 year where they've won more than they've lost since 1992. And what is so frustrating for Clint Hurdle and Pirate management, it's a team that starts off very well and then suddenly runs out of gas. I mean, last year on August the 6th, they won a game and they were 62-46. 16 games above 500. What they do, they turned right around and lost 37 of 54. By the way, the last time they had a winning record, 1992, they won the National League East title. 2 on, 1 out. Sellers struck out in the second inning. Inside, ball 1, 1-0. So the Bucks, for a comparison, like a fella who excels at the 60-yard dash, and you're asking him to run 100 yards. 1 ball and no strikes. Fastball popped up. We're watching the umpires. Infield fly rule is now called. So Sellers pops up, runners hold, 2 down, and the batter will be Ryu. Ryu struck out in the second inning. For a lock, he has 2 strikeouts. Ryu with the bat was 0 for 2 coming in, so 0 for 3. Hyunjin Ryu, boy out of Incheon in Korea. And that's ball 1. The first time he pitched, we brought it up, and I don't think it would be that badly considered repetition, especially what's going on in the world today. During the Korean War, one of the major battles in the area where he's from, Incheon. It was such a major battle in September of 1950. There were 75,000 troops involved, something like 264 naval vessels. And the U.S. defeated North Korea by driving them out of Incheon. A couple of days later, they went 20 miles and took over Seoul, Korea. The history of the Korean War was interesting because with the enemy in retreat, as I remember it, Douglas MacArthur wanted to cross the Yalu River and defeat the enemy in North Korea. And the president, Harry Truman, said no. There's a foul ball and a lost bat. Harry Truman was afraid that should the U.S. cross the Yalu River, that the Chinese army would then come in, and then you would really have a war that had expanded. And at the time, MacArthur really insisted, I've got the enemy on the run. I want to cross the Yalu. And Harry Truman said, no, you're coming home. And that's when General MacArthur spoke that dramatic speech. Old soldiers never die. They just fade away. Well, that was quite a time. September of 1950. Fastball, got him looking. That'll do it for Ryu. No runs, a hit, a walk, 2 left. And at the end of 4, it's still Dodgers 3 and the Bucks 2. Monday, April the 15th, Dodgers and Padres. First 40,000 fans in attendance receive a Jackie Robinson, Don Newcomb, and Roy Campanella statue presented by the film 42 in theaters April the 12th. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. Hyun-Jin Ryu, who started off wobbly with a base hit, a home run, and a walk in the first inning, and was saved for more thanks to a great play by Juan Uribe. So Ryu leading 3-2. He's made 65 pitches in 4 innings. In his previous start against the Giants, he made 80 pitches in 6 1/3 innings. So we'll see how he goes facing McDonald, Locke, and Marte. So the veteran McDonald will lead it off. McDonald collegiately went to the University of Connecticut. Eventually graduated from Providence College. And John takes ball 1. Three-2 Dodgers were in the 5th inning. Time. That's in there. 1 ball and 1 strike. Ryu has given up 2 runs, 3 hits. He has walked 1, struck out a couple, and a 1-1 count. Ball 3. 3-1. Dodgers doing okay against Pittsburgh, but really will get a far better line on the Dodger hitters when they go to Arizona. I mean, Arizona last year they lost 6 games there, 6 out of 9, including 5 straight. The Arizona hitters naturally are better hitters than Pittsburgh, and I don't think that's considered a knock. So the test will certainly begin then, starting on the 12th of April. So McDonald at first. We're looking bunt here, and the pitch is high, ball 1. Checking to see Nick Leyva hanging out a sign maybe in the third base coaching box. I wonder if his mom is here today. He was telling us last night for the first time in 19 years she missed a game here. I hope Nick's mom is well enough to take in the fun, and typically a thoughtful son thinking about her. Wanted to pass along his best wishes, and we're happy to do it. 1-1 the count to Jeff Locke. 3-2 Dodgers, 5th inning. Nobody out. Uribe well in on the grass. Looking it right into Fedorovich mitt. 1-2. Locke again checking with Leyva. McDonald off the bag at first. Outfield very shallow. Matt Kemp in center. Jerry Hairston in right. Crawford, however, just in case, he plays a little deeper in left. Swing and foul back. So they took the bunt off. Locke fouls it away, and the duel continues. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Light breeze blowing from left to right. Boy, the weatherman talking about some high winds tonight and tomorrow, so be careful. And full swing, and down he goes. So the inability to bunt, boy, how important that is. That's the 3rd strikeout for Ryu, and it brings up Starling Marte. Now, to give you an idea of what's going on, Marte in the series has 4 hits. The rest of the team has 3 hits. So not much of an attack. One reason why the Bucks have been struggling despite getting wonderful pitching. Marte single to left and hits one in the air to left. Crawford coming in and over. 2 down. So now Neil Walker, who has popped up twice, 0 for 2.
Second baseman, Neil Walker.
A lot of athletic people in the Walker family. Besides his dad, Tom, we've talked about him. His uncle, Chad, they called him Chip. He was in the big leagues back about 1975-76. His older brother, Neil, an outfielder in the Tiger organization and Baltimore. His other brother, Sean, a pitcher at George Mason University. And for good measure, his sister played basketball, and she's playing professionally in Ireland. Neil Walker, as he just did, swinging at the first pitch and swinging at the second. He has 22 infield hits last year. Switch hitter, batting right-handed, and last year he had 14 home runs. 1-2. With all of his other baseball abilities, Neal was also a wide receiver at high school and a high school All-American baseball player. 1-2 to Neal Walker. Time. Walker looks like an athlete. He's 6'3", 215 pounds, 27 years old. And he pokes it in the air to right. Hairston had a good jump. So Walker goes to right. They lead the leadoff walk to McDonald. And at the end of 4.5, it's still 3-2 Dodgers. Lead. MLB.com at bat. That's the #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers Dodger baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and more. So text at Bat 31826 or visit Dodgers.com for details. Carl Crawford 1-for-2 starting it off. And bangs it into right field. Up with it is Tabata to get it back in. So Crawford, another multi-hit game.
Coming to the plate,
and he's certainly been a find for the Dodgers. With 2 hits today, he now has 9 hits in 19 at-bats. Crawford also has stolen 2 bases, scored a couple of runs. He's been MVP, leading the attack. Now Punto. Well, they haven't bunt. Would they try hit and run? Would they play straight steal? You have Matt Kemp on deck. Crawford a little late in reading the move, and he has something to say to Davey Lopes about it. Tim Wallach gesturing from the third base coaching box. Punto waiting. Single sacrificed. See if they play it close to the vest and have him bunting again. No. In the 3rd inning, after the Dodgers had tied the game, Crawford doubled and Punto sacrificed, and then Matt Kemp came up, hit a fly ball high and deep to right, and Crawford tagged and brought in the run. And that's the go-ahead run, 3-2 Dodgers. 1 ball and no strikes. Crawford had a lot better read of Locke's move on that pitch, but that could be the commercial. In other words, Locke is trying to sell Crawford on that delivery, but he has a much better delivery up his sleeve. We'll see. And a line drive base hit to center. Crawford hesitated, but he wasn't going to go anywhere more than 90 feet anyway. When it left the bat, I think he thought maybe Walker had a play. So Nick Punto comes up with his second hit. And the Dodgers first and second, setting the table again for Matt Kemp. Kemp doubled Punto to third in the first inning, and Matt's fly ball picked up a run in the third. Of course, Matt Kemp in his career has devoured left-hand pitching. So although he might have been struggling come in, it's a quick way to get well. His batting average in his career against left-handers, .343. So 2 on, nobody out. Locke is in trouble. Slow curveball in for a strike. Not a ball thrown yet in the Pirate bullpen. Oh, and 1 the count. Dodgers lead 3-2, threatening for more in the fifth. 1-1. Laid off that pitch, little low, almost bit, and then Matt held up and backs away. 2-1 the count. Kemp with a double and a scoring fly ball. On deck, Adrian Gonzalez. Two and one. And ground ball to third, down to second for a run, over to first, double play. What an effort by Punto, trying to break up a double play, going in head first. But of course, that's the way Nick plays. For Matt Kemp, a very disappointing at bat.
First baseman number 23, Adrian Gonzalez.
You can see Punto. I'll tell you one thing. It's one thing to break up a double play, but to go in head first to break up a double play, oh no. A roll over, but that's Nick. Take one more look. Do not try this at home. So the Dodgers 2 on, nobody out. Kemp hits into a double play, and the batter is Adrian Gonzalez. And for Matt, the struggles continue. (3-2) Dodgers, bottom of the fifth inning. Gonzalez singled to center and flied to left. Ball one. Dodgers trying to hang on and add to a 3-2 lead. Kemp hitting into the double play has slowed them down here in the fifth inning. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Swung on, hit the left center field, and nobody there. Over to cut it off deep is Marte into second base, and he's going to be out by plenty, but the runner scored is Gonzalez. So Adrian, a long single to cash in Crawford. The Dodgers lead 4-2. the team. Don Drysdale is going to pitch opening day in Cincinnati against the Reds. Walter Alston turns to Bill Singer, another right-hander on the ball club, and Walter said, look, I'm going to have Drysdale pitch 6 innings since it's early in the season. Can you give me 3 innings? And Bill said, yeah, sure. So Drysdale went 6, led, going out 3-2. Bill Singer came in, pitched 3 innings, and the Dodgers won the game 3-2. It wasn't until years later that Bill Singer found out he got the first save in baseball history under some rather strange circumstances. And with that, let's go back to the game. Four to 2 in favor of the Dodgers. Adrian Gonzalez has driven in 3 of the 4 runs. Andrew McCutchen knocked in the 2 for Pittsburgh. 2-0 the count to Andrew. And a strike. We mentioned it earlier in case you just joined us. Andrew McCutchen had an idea, decided to give all of his teammates gifts. And the gifts were Dr. Dre headphones. Lifted to right field, fighting the sun and losing it. Hairston backtracks and makes the catch. And that was a fight from the moment the ball left the bat.
First baseman, number 14.
One away. You know, to pick up on the Bill Singer story, that save was not like today's saves. Remember, Bill pitched 3 innings, 3 hitless innings to save it for Drysdale. The last out for that first save was a fly ball to center field by Johnny Bench, and it was caught by Wes Parker, who is normally a first baseman. And over in right field for the Dodgers that day, April the 7th, 1969, making his major league debut, Bill Russell. Quite a day to remember. Would you believe there is a book out right now called Closer? Brand new book, just came out. It was reviewed in the Times just the other day. 1-2. And actually the authors found fault with the so-called closer and save. They had some line, I'm not quite sure, but this is close to it. They said it makes as much sense as putting a sweater on a fox terrier. What a put down. 1-2 the count. Ryu working on Gabby Sanchez. We're in the 6th inning. The Bucks had a single by Marte and a home run by McCutchen in the 1st inning. They had a single in the 3rd inning by Marte. And since that time, they've had 1 base runner on a walk. Down goes Sanchez. That would be 4 strikeouts for Ryu. And the batter is Mike McHenry, the catcher. If you weren't with us in the 1st inning, big play by Juan Uribe. McHenry came up with a man aboard, hit what looked like a cinch double and a run batted in, and Uribe made a diving stop right on the chalk, got up and threw McHenry out. That was a big play. Ball 1. Last time up, McHenry flied to left field. Ryu made 80 pitches in his game against the Giants, and he has now gone over 80 pitches here in the 6th inning. 91 pitches to be exact. That's in there. Oh, maybe not. 3-0. Check. That's a strike. Seeing Dan Iasanya, he kind of switched his hands with the indicator. And I thought as he was making the switch, he was calling a strike, which reminds us of a classic story. There was an umpire in the National League, very nice man, named Tony Venzin. And we were doing a game 1,000 years ago, and we were confused all game long with Venzin whether it was a strike or not. Couldn't understand why we were so confused. And we went to see Tony after the game, and I said, Mr. Venzin, you know, normally the umpire carries the indicator in his right hand. Out of the way. And you were carrying it in your left hand, and we weren't quite sure whether it was a ball or a strike. And the indicator has a little slide button on it where you, with your thumb, you push it to keep track of the pitch and the count. And Tony Benson said, I would love to be able to do that. He had no thumb. He had lost the thumb in a commercial accident. That's back from 1957 through 71. Tony Venzin. Nice man. 3-2 the count to McHenry. Pedro Alvarez waiting on deck. Dodgers lead 4-2. The Bucks actually led 2-0 in the first inning. And strike three called. And McHenry tried to run his way for a walk, pays the price. He becomes strikeout victim number 5. And it's 4-2 Dodgers at the end of 5½. Leading 4-2. Right now, the Twitter poll question and the results. Remember, which Dodger pitching 1-2 combination your favorite? And I was guessing that age would have a big factor. There are those of us who remember Koufax and Drysdale. There are many who do not, and there are a lot more now who remember Valenzuela and Hershiser. And so Fernando and Orel got 58% of the vote. And Fernando up high in the broadcasting booth, Freddie as they call him. One other thing you might want to have of interest in looking at those 4 great players, how many games they won and then collectively. I'll tell you in a moment. Here's Hairston. Don Drysdale won 209 games. Sandy Koufax, a victim of Raynaud's phenomenon. Sandy won 165 games, so that would add up to 374. for the Koufax Drysdale duo. Now what about Valenzuela and Hershiser? Valenzuela won 173 and Hershiser 204. We'll do the math. That's a little foul ball out of play. So Valenzuela and Hershiser together won 377 games. Don Drysdale and Sandy Koufax together won 374. There you have it. 0-2. And that's pulled in the air to left. Marte goes back to pick it off. So Hairston 1 for 3 as he lines out to left. And the batter will be Juan Uribe.
For the Dodgers, third baseman, number 5, Juan Uribe.
For Jeff Locke, the pitcher for Pittsburgh, he is due to bat 4th when the Bucks come up in the 7th inning. Uribe flied to right and hit into a force play. Force play was hit and run. They were running Hairston. And he drives one to left field and deep. Marte on the track at the box seats and backhands it. Juan Uribe losing a home run, and a nice play by Starling Marte, who actually made it look easy. Ran parallel right at the railing, reached over, backhanded the ball. So 2 out in the 6th inning. Deserves another look. Marte reaching up and backhanding what surely would have gone over into the seats, though he takes away a home run from Juan Uribe. Yep, it's the big leagues. They even make some of the tough plays look easy. That's a strike to Fedorovich, followed by Sellers. Dodger bullpen now is a little busy. Ronald Belisario, the right-hander, and J.P. Howell, the left-hander, down in the pen. Chopper foul. And looking at the pitch count, remember, Ryu made 80 pitches against the Giants, and he has made 97 pitches now against Pittsburgh. Fedorovich lined out to left and walked, and you wonder, he's probably kept it out of his mind completely, whether he'll be sent down right after the game. That's a tough way to play, isn't it? We were talking earlier how he was dreaming of playing before a sellout crowd, and by gosh, he got it today. But he didn't know he'd be playing on the edge, so to speak, now that the Dodgers have the veteran catcher Ramon Hernandez. Two and two the count to Tim Fedorovich. 3-2. Dodgers trying to sweep the Bucks. They did it last year in April, so they're trying to do it again. Three and two. Got a fastball and just did get a little of it. Still 3-2. Boy, hearing that trumpet or coronet, I'm not sure which, that brings back so many memories. Wow, I haven't heard that in a while. Ground ball to the hole, backhanded by McDonald, gets rid of the ball perfectly. Wow, what a big league play by the veteran shortstop, John McDonald. So we're heading to the 7th, 4-2 Dodgers. California Kia retailers. Visit mysocalkia.com. By AT&T UVerse. Check availability at 1-800-PIC-ATT. Rethink possible. And by Time Warner. Enjoy all the things you love better. Call 1-855-1-TWC. Dodgers lead the Pirates 4-2, but it's been a struggle. And for Ryu, who has made 97 pitches, he'll now try the 7th inning. Alvarez, Tabata, and McDonald. And a strike to the big third baseman, who is 0 for 2, who has struck out 5 times in the series. Still looking for a hit. 0-2. Meanwhile, pitchers and a chat. Ray Searage. 0-2. Off the plate, ball 1. That close-up was Jeff Locke listening to his pitching coach. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Look out for the bat. It goes way back into the stands. And for Alvarez, he walks away empty-handed, literally and figuratively, as he strikes out again. Though he struck out 6 times, and he's hitless in the series, losing the bat into the stand. Now, Don Mattingly is coming out, and I think we will have at least 1 switch, maybe 2. It looks like Uribe is going to come out of the game. We're waiting for them to open up the bullpen gate, and Don now is on his way to the mound. So we'll have a 2-for-1 switch. We'll expect Luis Cruz to come in. And we're waiting for the pitcher. Mark Ellis is going to take over in the infield, and Ronald Belisario will come riding in. Ryu gets an ovation, walks out leading 4-2, and we'll be back. A 4-2 lead. Ryu comes out having made 101 pitches, and after giving up 2 runs in the first inning, he shut the Bucks down completely. The Dodgers change the furniture on the infield. Nick Punto goes from second base to third, and Mark Ellis takes over at second base. So Ronald Belisario has to get 2 outs here in the 7th inning. Tabata flied to center, grounded to short, 0 for 2. So Ryu pitched very well. First inning, though, it didn't look like he was going to be around long, but he really settled down. After the first inning, he allowed just one hit. Fastball, slow roller, tough play for Punto. Barehand pick up in the dirt, and it gets on by Gonzalez, and on his way to second goes Tabata. So Punto, who's been playing second, asked suddenly to play third, and don't you know they hit the ball up there. And he tries to make the barehand pick and throw. And we'll wait to see, is it 1-1? An error all the way. We'll wait for the score. And it's going to be 1-1. So it's a single to third and an error charge to Punto. Garrett Jones, a left-hand batter, is now going to come up and bat for McDonald.
Attention, please. Attention for the Pirates. Batting for McDonald, number 46.
So a runner at second with one out. That's the first man to get to second base since the first inning. Garrett Jones, not only a left-hand hitter, but the kind of a left-hand hitter capable of hitting it out. And promptly lifts it to left. Crawford is there. So Garrett didn't hang around. Quickly 2 out. And with the pitcher due up, they'll send up Travis Snyder, another left-hand hitter who can hit the ball a long way. Ryu, toweled, quietly taken in the game, turned in a great 101 pitches, struck out 6. High chopper up the middle, short hop, backhanded by Ellis in the dirt, scooped by Adrian Gonzalez. What a nice play that was, especially since Mark Ellis has been sitting on the bench. A fine play, and it's still 4-2 Dodgers. had a fine performance by Hyun-Jin Ryu, and they're getting ready for more action. You know, a reminder, Wednesday, April 17th, the first 50,000 fans at the game with the Padres received their very own Dodger-themed Hello Kitty fleece blanket. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. By the way, we want to take a moment out for the new pitcher, Chris LaRue, on the mound, to send along our best wishes for a speedy recovery to one of our dear friends, Hall of Fame announcer Jaime Jarrín. I didn't even know till after last night's game that Jaime was not here. He's down with the flu, but hopefully by resting last night, all of today, all of tomorrow, why, we'll see Jaime back in action Tuesday night in San Diego, please God. Chris LaRue facing Justin Sellers. LaRue is 6'6", about 225, from Montreal, Canada. Actually from Quebec. LaRue picking up for Jeff Locke. Looked like a slider off the plate. You know, it's amazing, Mark Ellis coming into the game and making a dazzling play for the last out in the top of the 7th inning. Meanwhile, a drive to the gap in left center field, and that one carries and goes out. Justin Sellers finally breaks the streak and hits a home run. He was 0 for 2 today, and he was 0 for 15 when he reaches the seats in left center. So the Dodgers now move up to 5-2. Sellers got a fastball right over the heart of the plate, and he knew what to do with that one. McCutchen, who has hit a lot of them, has to watch one. So 5-2 Dodgers. Mark Ellis taking a strike. We were talking about Mark making that great play coming fresh off the bench. You know, his fielding percentage in his career is .991. That's second all time to second baseman. So he is quite a valuable asset out there at second base. I mean, this game is tough enough to be able to practice, take infield, then go out and play. But to sit in the dugout and then go out and play second base and immediately have to make a tough play, that's really something. That's an accomplishment. 2-2 the count. Dodgers trying to sweep the series. They did it against Pittsburgh last year. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Also, remember, the Pirates were the last team, the only team, not to have given up more than 3 runs. But today they've given up 5. We're in the bottom of the 7th, and for Justin Sellers, his 3rd career home run. And as we mentioned, he had a long 0 for 15 before hitting it out. There's a fly ball to McCutchen. And the batter now will be Carl Crawford.
Batting next, left fielder, Carl Crawford.
Carl Crawford hit back to the box in the 1st inning, but he doubled and scored a run in the 3rd and singled to open up the 5th. So Crawford 2 for 3. Off the plate, ball 1. Chris LaRue from La Belle Provence, Quebec. But he went to Winthrop University in Rock Hill, South Carolina. One and one. 1-2. LaRue will be 29 on the 14th of April. One and two the count. Whoop. High inside fastball. 2-2 to Carl Crawford. When the Bucks come up in the 8th inning, they'll have Marte, Walker, and McCutchen, so don't go wandering off. Reaching for that, and a foul ball that will go out of play. And then Kangaroo back up there about 8 rows. Two balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Beautiful day in the ballpark. Not a cloud in the sky. 69 degrees when the game started, and barely a zephyr stirring the flags in center field. 2-2. Ground ball. That'll be to Neil Walker. Two out in the 7th. Nick Punto will be coming up. Punto singled in the 1st inning and came around to score. Sacrificed in the 3rd and singled to center in the 5th. So Nick is 2 for 2. One and 0 the count. Pirates have changed their infield a little bit. Clint Barmas is now at short. Garrett Jones, who pinch hit, is in right field. By the way, we were talking how brilliant Mark Ellis is, and we said that he is the 2nd best all-time fielding percentage for a second baseman. And it's like, well, all right, drop the other shoe. Who's number 1? And we looked it up. Placido Polanco. His fielding percentage, .993. Noella sitting back in the dugout. That was a big play. Dodgers leading comfortably right now, 5-2. Fouled away. If you're keeping score, and we're just getting how they're batting, LaRue will bat 9th. Barmas will bat 7th. That's top of the spot. And Jones would bat 8th after having pinch hit in that spot. 5-2 Dodgers. 2 out and a full count on Punto with Matt Kemp on deck. Time. Locke and LaRue for the Dodgers, Ryu and Belisario. Big Chris at the belt. Here we go. And ball 4. So that'll bring up Matt Kemp, who doubled to right center in the 1st inning. Had a scoring fly ball to right field in the 3rd. and then last time up pulled the ball and banged into a double play. Little slider in for a strike. Neil Walker near the bag at second, but he's not overly committed to load up the left side. They give Matt the lines. They give him left and right and kind of collapse towards center. Nice save by McHenry. 1-1 to count. Don't forget, when the Bucks come up in the 8th inning, Marte, Walker, and then Andrew McCutchen. On deck, Adrian Gonzalez. 2 out in the inning. Fastball, 1-2. That's a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. Matt wasn't quite able to catch up to it. Last night, the game started at 6:10, and you had Kershaw and Burnett, and I don't know how the hitters, the first couple of innings, how they saw the ball at all. Not to take anything away from the pitchers, but they did get help. Each man had 9 strikeouts in the early going. There goes the runner. Pitch is in, not only inside, it gets away from McHenry. And down to second with a stolen base is Punto. So Punto now in scoring position, and Matt Kemp with 2 out trying to pick him up. Matt Kemp, of course, has had a lot of chances to drive in runs. How about Chris Davis of Baltimore? In 4 games, he had 4 home runs and 16 runs batted in. Ball 3. So we were talking at the start of the game about Matt Kemp this year had been swinging at the first pitch 45% of the time. 2 years ago, he would swing at the first pitch only 19%. What does it mean? I don't know. There's ball 4. I mean, it could mean if you're swinging at the first pitch, you're pressing. I'll leave that to the experts. So Kemp draws the walk. 2 walks after a home run and 2 outs. And here's Adrian Gonzalez. Gonzalez singled in the first and in the 5th. He has 3 runs batted in, and he's up there with a chance to pick up another ribby. Gonzalez with his 3 runs batted in today, though he has 4 now in the 5 games, and hold everything. Let's see if they're going to bring in a left-hander or if they're just going to talk to LaRue. A couple of questions, a couple of answers. No indication of making a switch. Nope, they're going to stay with him. So Chris LaRue, after walking Punto and Kemp, now has Gonzalez. 2 on, 2 out, 1 in, and the Dodgers lead 5-2. Seventh inning of the final game of the homestand and the last game of the 3-game series with the Pirates. And lined into right field, base hit. Here comes speedster Punto. Here's a good throw to the plate. Punto scores. 4th RBI of the day for Adrian Gonzalez, and the Dodgers lead 6-2. Adrian goes 3 for 4. So Punto, who had stolen second base, is cashed in. Down to second goes Matt Kemp. And that'll bring up Gary Hairston, who's in right field. Garrett Jones made a good strong throw, one hopper to the plate, but Punto was already in. So for the Dodgers, 6 for 46, and then today 3 for 6 with runners in scoring position. Luis Cruz comes out on deck. He would bat for Uribe and then stay in. Little slider for a strike. 0-1. Jerry Hairston, fly to center, single to center, lined out to left. Breeze has turned around. It's now blowing out to left. Not hard, but it is change of direction. I think the winds that they're talking about that might come tonight and tomorrow, I believe, are coming down from Alaska, out of the northwest. Matt Guerrero's up in the Dodger bullpen. Dodgers in the inning, a leadoff home run by Sellers, and with 2 out, 2 walks and a single for another run. Ground ball to short, a pick by Barnes in the feed, and that's the inning. But the Dodgers take it. They add 2. Justin Sellers with his first home run of the year and the 3rd of his career, and after going 0 for 15, you know how he feels. The fans feel the same way, and the Dodgers lead 6-2. In the first inning, a shot down the third base line that should have been for extra bases. Juan Uribe makes a wonderful play, not just to smother the ball on the chalk, but then on his knee, throwing accurately to second base for a force play. Dodgers make a maneuver with Skip Schumacher. He stays in the game now, trying to loosen up. He's in left field for Carl Crawford. Starling Marte is 2 for 3, will start it off. with the Dodgers leading 6-2. Ronald Belisario trying to finish up for Ryu. 0-1 the count. Ryu made 101 pitches, went 6 1/3. And now Belisario picked up the other 2 outs in the 7th, and here he is in the 8th. Shot off his glove behind the bag. Mark runs it over in time. I think Belisario might have gotten a little piece of that ball to slow it down. So Marte loses a possible 3rd hit.
Second baseman number 18, Neil Walker.
And with 1 away, Neil Walker coming up. In the Dodger bullpen, Kenley Jansen begins to tune up. So Kenley at that stage where he'll make a pitch and then watch a pitch or two. That's a strike. Neil Walker 0 for 3. Popped up twice to short, fly to right. He went 0 for 3 with a walk last night, and he went 0 for 4 in the first game. So they have shut down a good hitter, Neil Walker. Walker 0 for 9 in the series. Does have a sacrifice and a walk. On deck, Andrew McCutchen. Dodgers scored 2 in the first, added another in the 3rd, picked up 1 more in the 5th, and 2 in the 7th. And what a day for Adrian Gonzalez. 3 hits, 4 runs batted in. Squirted foul. Adrian with his 4 RBIs today. His career high 6 RBIs, and it came painfully against the Dodgers. That's when he was playing for the Padres in 2010. 1-2. Gonzalez. So the Gold Glove takes care of that. 2 out in the 8th. Here's Andrew McCutchen. Kind of an interesting note on McCutchen, especially now this at bat. In his career, McCutchen hits an amazing .554 if he puts the no ball 1 strike pitch in play. Even though the pitcher's ahead of him, he is dynamite. 0-1. Well, let's see what happens now. McCutchen hit a 2-run home run in the first inning and 2 fly balls since. And he takes, so okay. Here it is. 0-1. And fouled it away, so 0-2. So Andrew McCutchen up there with 2 out, top of the 8th, and the Dodgers leading comfortably 6-2. If the Dodgers hold on to the lead and win it, they will have beaten the Pirates 9 straight at Dodger Stadium, and more than that. Ground ball to Mark. So McCutchen rolls out. Easy inning for Ronald Belisario. And we're heading for the bottom of the 8th with the Dodgers leading 6-2. At 6-2, and the newest Dodger is going to pinch hit. And that would be the veteran Ramon Hernandez. He's from Caracas, Venezuela. He'll be 37 the end of May. Lives in Miami. An even 6'2", was originally signed as a free agent by the Oakland A's. And he came up and played for about 6 years with the A's. Then he played a couple of years with the Padres, then the Orioles. Then he had 3 more years with the Reds, and he was with the Rockies. And here he is in the deal that sent Aaron Harang to Cincinnati. So Ramon Hernandez will start it off.
Leading off the bottom of the 8th for the
And
Dodgers.
here's the first announcement for him.
Dodgers debut. Number 33, Ramon Hernandez.
And a strike. Ramon Hernandez has hit as well as .297 for the Reds 2 years ago. He's hit as many as 15 home runs. Well, to go way back, he hit 21 home runs, but that's about 10 years ago with the Oakland A's. One and two. For Ramon, little note of irony, he was traded for Aaron Harang, and back in 2009 and 10, Aaron Harang and Ramon Hernandez were battery mates for the Reds. Hernandez also, if need be, can play a little bit of first base. 2-2. By the way, the paid attendance today, 52,053. And that got him on the inside corner, and down goes Hernandez. So 1 away in the 8th inning. Interestingly enough, you have Hernandez coming in as a pinch hitter, and coming up next, Tim Fedorovich, followed by Clint Hurdle. But the idea that Hernandez arrives and that might force Fedorovich to go back, and it's kind of poignant for Fedorovich to see Hernandez come in the game and then have Tim waiting on deck. So he does the smart thing and goes over and has a little chat with Justin Sellers, and we'll be back. Coming in relief, Jason originally signed back in 1998 And he's been with a lot of ball clubs, with Florida, the White Sox, several years with Detroit, Colorado, Texas, and Pittsburgh. Most interesting note about Jason Grilli and his father Steve pitched in the big leagues. They both made their Detroit Tiger pitching debut on the same date, September the 19th, exactly 30 years apart. Father Steve on 1975, Jason 2005. Grilli trying to get a couple of outs, and is a line drive right at Neil Walker. So Fedorovich goes 0 for 3, hit the ball hard twice. Now Justin Sellers. He was 0 for 15 when he walked up to the plate in the 7th inning and connected a drive into the left field pavilion. Dodgers leading 6-2 here in the 8th inning. Sanchez, McHenry, and Alvarez due up in the 9th. High fastball, ball 1. Jason Grilli attended Seton Hall University over in New Jersey. He was named Big East Conference Rookie of the Year, all Big East. Jason, 36 years old, and a big fella, 6'4", checks in at about 225. Just off the plate. So the Dodgers trying to sweep the Bucks, and the Bucks have one shot left in the 9th, with the Dodgers leading 6-2. 2-1 to Sellers. Ball 3. 52,053 here today. 52,053. Three and 1 to Justin. And ball 4. So Sellers picks up the walk. Mark Ellis, batting 9th in the lineup, will be coming up.
Second baseman, number 14, Mark Ellis.
Ellis off the bench made 2 nice defensive plays. He's 0 for 1 with the bat. Breaking and no break. At least in his delivery, looked like Grilli was going to try to snap it off, and nothing happened. 1 ball and no strikes. Little slider in there. 1-1 to Mark Ellis. 2 out, 8th inning. Dodgers lead 6-2. The end of this little homestand. Dodgers will bust down tomorrow. San Diego, Arizona, and then come home for San Diego. 1-2 to Mark Ellis. Fouled away. Skip Schumacher waiting his turn out on deck. Finishing up in left field for Carl Crawford. Crawford had another good day. A single and a double. One ball, 2 strikes. Fastball sliced into right field, base hit. Taking a look at where the third baseman was and where the right fielder was ready to fire it. Sellers wisely holds on. So Ellis a single to right. Runners at first and second with 2 out. And the batter, Skip Schumacher, took over in left field for Carl Crawford. Schumacher 0 for 4, though he hadn't had much of a chance to swing the bat. Skip, born in Torrance and lives in Laguna Niguel. Went to school at Loyola Marymount and then transferred to the University of California, Santa Barbara. Skip, a veteran who was so useful to the St. Louis Cardinals. And ball 1. Schumacher, 33 years old. It's all in the pronunciation. There was a very famous pitcher in the National League many years ago, Hal Schumacher, but he didn't spell it the same way. That Schumacher was Schumacher. So the first time we saw Skip, instead of his name sounding and looking like Schumacher, it looks like Shoemaker, Maker, but he pronounces it Schumacher. The Hal Schumacher was a great sinker ball pitcher for the Giants, and in New York they hailed him with the nickname Prince Hal. Eventually retired, sold athletic equipment for a living, and lived in Vero Beach. 2-1. Line foul outside of third. So the Pirates are heading for Arizona. The Dodgers are heading for San Diego and then Arizona. For Clint Hurdle's club, they'll eventually get home to play Cincinnati. Big Clint, big and likable, but has to be troubled. His third year manager of the Pirates, 8 years with Colorado. Fly ball to left field and deep. Going back and picking it off to win the inning, Marte. So the Dodgers lead 2, and at the end of 8, lead 6-2. Visit ramtrucks.com today. By El Pollo Loco, crazy you can taste. And by CarMax. Start the search for your next car at CarMax. We have reached the 9th inning before a sellout crowd on a beautiful Sunday afternoon, and the Dodgers lead the Pirates 6-2, with Ryu looking for a victory and Locke possibly a lock to lose. A rather interesting day in baseball today, in the fact that 5 of the game's best pitchers not only lost today, but they were rocked They were hit hard. Matt Guerrier is going to try to finish up, and that's a strike to Gabby Sanchez. R.A. Dickey was knocked around. Matt Cain was pushed around. So was Cole Hammonds. It was humility day for Steven Strasburg and even Justin Verlander. Ground ball to Sellers, and we have one out. Boy, those are big name pitchers. They were all beaten soundly today. Matt Cain, for instance, stands to lose in San Francisco. The Cardinals are leading the Giants 9-2 in the 8th inning. Today was the big day in San Francisco. They gave out the World Series rings, and then the Cardinals obviously gave them a piece of humble pie. McHenry, the catcher, 1 ball and no strikes. The Bucks have had 1 hit. That was the single by Tabata in the 7th inning, since a single in the 3rd inning. Dodger pitching, Ryu, Belisario, and now Matt Guerrier. Dodgers are 2 outs away from beating Pittsburgh 9 straight times at Dodger Stadium. Then it gets worse. 17 out of 19, 23 out of 27. So for a Pirate ball club coming in with great hopes after pitching some well-pitched games in Chicago, and it looks like they're going to draw blanks and move on to Arizona. And the question in Pittsburgh, will they ever win more games than they lose? The Pirates have not gotten above 500 since 1992, and you can imagine how painful that is for Clint Hurdle. 2-2. Now back. The only thing to make Clint Hurdle smile these days, Clint's the father of 3 daughters, and this is a father-daughter road trip. So he'll see all 3 on this trip, but then he has to go to the ballpark. 3-2 the count. McHenry 0 for 3, but he had that big out in the 1st inning when Juan Uribe made a dazzling play to prevent the Bucks from scoring more than 2 in the 1st inning, and there's ball 4. So Guerrier draws the walk, and Alvarez coming up.
Pedro Alvarez.
Now let's see, Mattingly, after seeing Guerrier walk McHenry, he has the left-hander J.P. Howell down in the bullpen, and we will make sure before leaving that he's going to lift. Yep, he is. Out goes Guerrier, in comes Howell. We'll be right back. Howell comes in. Oh, it can be great if you're an Adrian Gonzalez. You get 3 hits and 4 runs batted in. You got a Gold Glove and you're just sailing along. And then there's a fellow like Pedro Alvarez, who is stepping into the batter's box right now. He is 0 for 9 and he has struck out 6 of the 9 at bats. Ball 1. He's always had a lot of trouble against left-handers. In fact, this will be his 300th at bat against a left-hander, and he has struck out 127 times of those at bats. Curve ball strike. 1-1. Well, it's a lot expected of Alvarez. He's a first-round pick 5 years ago. 1-1. If you have any heart at all, even if you're rooting hard for the Dodgers, you hope at least this kid can hit the ball. 1-2. Oh, wow. Oh, boy. It is a tough game. 7 strikeouts in the series, 10 at-bats.
Clint Barnes.
And he's probably thinking the Dodgers have all these pitchers and Matt Guerrero's on the mound, but no, they bring in another left-hander to humiliate me. Here's Clint Barnes, the veteran shortstop. That's right. Barnes finishing up at short, but this is his first at bat. He's hitting in Tabata's spot. Tabata went 1 for 3. It's ironic, too, that Pedro Alvarez is in the same game with Adrian Gonzalez. Adrian Gonzalez last year had the highest batting average for a left-hand hitter against left-hand pitching in the major league. And Alvarez can't buy a hit. Another discouraging day. It can be a heartbreaking game. There goes the runner. They don't pay any attention. Strike 3 on Barnes, and the Dodgers win yet another from Pittsburgh. For the Dodgers now, they have beaten the Pirates 9 straight, 17 out of 19, 23 out of 27, and they win it 6 runs, 11 hits. They hold the Pirates to 2 runs on 4 hits. Howell came in to make it look easy and made only 6 pitches. Ryu is the winner, and young Jeff Locke, who has never won in his young career on the road. Locke is the loser. He is 0-5 in his career away from Pittsburgh. So the Bucks will pack up and they will move on to Arizona, and the Dodgers will go down to San Diego and open up Tuesday afternoon. That's a 3:40 game on KCAL. That'll be Tuesday, and then a night game on Wednesday, a night game on Thursday, and the Dodgers then will go over to Arizona before coming home. So the Dodgers now with a record of 4-2. They have a 3-game winning streak, all at the expense of the Bucks. A reminder, stay tuned for Dodgers Live. It's coming up next. Good afternoon, everybody.
All right, AT